Garlic isn't just a kitchen essential, it's one of the most rewarding crops you can grow at home. Planting garlic in the fall, especially in October, gives your plants a head start that spring planting simply can't match. When you place cloves into cool autumn soil, they begin forming strong root systems before winter sets in. These roots allow the plants to wake up early in spring, ready to surge with growth as soon as temperatures rise. This early advantage means larger bulbs, richer flavor, and higher yields when harvest time comes around. Fall-planted garlic also takes advantage of the natural rhythm of the seasons: mild autumn weather for rooting, winter dormancy for strength, and the burst of spring energy for growth. And the benefits go beyond the garden bed. Garlic is packed with antioxidants, boosts immunity, and adds depth and aroma to countless dishes. Growing your own lets you experience garlic at its freshest, full of life, flavor, and character. So, whether you're an experienced gardener or planting for the very first time, autumn is the perfect time to start. Grab a few healthy bulbs, prepare your soil, and join us on this journey, from planting in October to harvesting a golden bounty next summer. Let's begin. Before we dive into planting, it's important to understand what garlic really needs to thrive. Unlike many garden vegetables, garlic isn't started in spring. It's a crop that loves a long, slow growing season, beginning in the cool days of autumn and finishing in the warmth of early summer. When you plant in October, the soil is still warm enough for cloves to start developing roots, but cool enough to prevent them from sprouting too soon. This delicate balance, warm roots and cool air, encourages strong underground growth before the first frost arrives. Once the ground freezes, the garlic will rest quietly through the winter months, storing energy for spring. In most regions of the United States, mid to late October is the perfect time to plant. If you live in the South, where winters are mild, you can plant a bit later, even into November. But in colder northern climates, early October or late September ensures your garlic gets that essential head start before hard frost. Now, let's talk about types of garlic. There are two main kinds: hardneck and softneck. Hardneck varieties grow a stiff central stalk called a scape, which curls beautifully in late spring and can be harvested for cooking. They produce fewer but larger cloves and are well suited to colder regions like the northern US and Canada. Softneck garlic, on the other hand, doesn't produce a scape and has a softer, braided stem. It grows best in warmer areas and stores for much longer, often 6 months or more. This is the type you'll often see in grocery stores or in those decorative garlic braids. When it comes to location, garlic craves full sunlight, at least 6 hours a day. Choose a spot that stays dry after rain, since garlic dislikes sitting in waterlogged soil. The ideal soil should be loose, crumbly, and well drained, with a pH between 6.0 and 7.0. Heavy clay can cause bulbs to rot, while sandy soil may need extra compost to hold nutrients. Rotation also matters. Never plant garlic where onions or other alliums have grown in the past 2 years. This helps prevent diseases such as white rot and nematode infestations. Think of garlic as a slow, steady grower. It spends the fall and winter establishing roots, and the real top growth begins when the soil warms in spring. By understanding this cycle, root first, then shoot, you'll know exactly what your plants need at every stage. So, as you prepare for planting, remember, success with garlic starts with timing, soil, sunlight, and variety. Get these basics right, and you're already halfway to a strong, flavorful harvest next summer. Before planting a single clove, let's prepare the foundation for success: the soil. Garlic may seem hardy, but it's a crop that rewards attention to the ground beneath it. A rich, loose, living soil will produce large, healthy bulbs packed with flavor. Start by loosening the top 8 to 10 inches, about 20 to 25 centimeters, of your garden bed. Garlic roots don't like hard, compacted ground. They need room to spread deeply and evenly. Use a garden fork or broad fork to gently aerate the soil without destroying its structure. Next, focus on adding organic matter. This is the single best thing you can do for garlic. Mix in well-rotted compost, aged manure, or leaf mold. These materials feed the soil microbes that, in turn, feed your plants. The texture should feel crumbly and slightly moist, not heavy or sticky. If you're working with clay soil, add a layer of coarse sand or fine bark compost to improve drainage. Sandy soil, on the other hand, will benefit from extra compost or peat-free organic matter to retain moisture. The goal is balance: soil that drains well but holds enough water for roots to stay hydrated. Now it's time to enrich the bed with natural nutrients. Garlic doesn't need high nitrogen early on, but it thrives on phosphorus and potassium, which promote strong roots and healthy bulb formation. For this, sprinkle bone meal, wood ash, or kelp meal across the bed. A handful per square foot is usually enough. Lightly mix it into the top few inches of soil. Avoid using fresh manure. It's too strong and can burn young roots or introduce unwanted weed seeds. Instead, rely on compost that's been aged at least 6 months. To finish, level the bed and let it settle for a few days before planting. This allows the soil life to stabilize and prevents your cloves from sinking too deep. If you're an organic gardener, you can take it a step further. Apply a microbial inoculant or compost tea to jumpstart biological activity. Healthy soil teeming with bacteria and fungi means better nutrient uptake, fewer diseases, and a more resilient garlic crop. Remember, garlic spends months underground. The soil is its entire world. The richer and more alive that world is, the better your harvest will be. So take your time with this step. Smell the earth, feel its texture, and build the best possible home for your cloves. Good soil is not just the beginning of garlic. It's the secret to every great harvest. Now that your soil is rich and ready, it's time for the most exciting part: planting the garlic itself. This is where careful attention pays off, because how you plant today will directly shape your harvest next summer. Start with selecting the right bulbs. Choose large, firm, healthy heads, ideally from a local farmer's market or a trusted seed supplier, not from the grocery store. Grocery garlic is often treated to prevent sprouting. Look for plump cloves with tight, unbroken skins, and no signs of mold or softness. Next, gently separate the bulb into individual cloves. Don't peel off the papery skins. They protect the clove from disease and help it retain moisture. Select the biggest cloves for planting and save the smaller ones for cooking. Each clove will grow into its own full bulb by next summer. Now, let's prepare the rows. Using a garden trowel or your hand, dig small holes about 2 inches deep. That's roughly the length of your thumb. Space each hole 4 to 6 inches apart, with 10 to 12 inches between rows. If you're growing many bulbs, stagger your rows in a zigzag pattern to maximize airflow and use your garden space efficiently. When planting, Place each clove pointed side up and flat side down. This orientation matters. The roots emerge from the flat base, and planting upside down can stunt growth. Cover the clove gently with soil, pressing lightly to remove air pockets, but keeping the soil loose enough for roots to breathe.
Once the bed is planted, it's time to water, but only lightly. The goal is to moisten the soil without saturating it. Overwatering at this stage can cause cloves to rot before they establish roots. Finally, protect your garlic for the winter with a thick mulch layer, 3 to 4 inches of clean straw, shredded leaves, or compost. Mulch helps maintain consistent moisture, suppresses weeds, and acts as insulation against sudden frost. In very cold climates, you can even add an extra layer before heavy snow, removing it in early spring once shoots appear. Label your rows if you've planted more than one variety. Come spring, when the first green shoots push through the mulch, you'll know exactly which type is thriving best in your soil. And there you have it. Your garlic is in the ground and ready to begin its quiet journey through winter. You've created the perfect environment: fertile soil, healthy cloves, and protective mulch. Nature will do the rest. Each clove you planted now holds the promise of a full, aromatic bulb. A small act today that will reward you with abundance next summer. After planting, your garlic will quietly settle in for the winter. Beneath the mulch, each clove is already beginning to form roots, even while the surface seems still. This dormant period is nature's way of preparing the plant for a burst of growth in spring. When the snow melts and temperatures begin to rise, you'll see the first green shoots breaking through the mulch, a sure sign that your garlic has made it through the cold months. At this stage, remove any heavy or compacted mulch, but leave a light layer to retain moisture and suppress early weeds. Now it's time to feed and care for your garlic as it grows. Garlic is a steady feeder that appreciates a balanced diet. About 3 to 4 weeks after the shoots appear, apply a gentle organic fertilizer such as compost tea, fish emulsion, or a balanced 10-10-10 mix. These provide nitrogen for leaf growth and essential minerals for strong bulbs. Watering is just as important. Garlic prefers even moisture, but not soggy soil. Aim to water once or twice a week, depending on rainfall, keeping the soil damp but not saturated. Overwatering can lead to rot, while underwatering can stunt bulb formation. Always water at the base, avoiding wetting the leaves. As the weather warms, you may notice weeds competing for space. Remove them carefully. Garlic has shallow roots that can be damaged by deep cultivation. Mulching with straw or compost will help control weeds naturally while maintaining soil temperature and moisture. When the plants reach about 6 inches tall, give them another light feeding of compost or diluted liquid fertilizer. Avoid high nitrogen feeds late in the season. Too much nitrogen encourages leafy growth rather than bulb development. Around early summer, hardneck garlic will send up flower stalks called scapes. While they're beautiful, they can steal energy from the bulbs. Snip them off once they curl, and don't throw them away. Garlic scapes are delicious sautéed, grilled, or blended into pesto. Now let's talk about a few common mistakes gardeners make. One of the biggest is planting too shallow. Shallow cloves can dry out or freeze over winter. Another is crowding plants too closely, which limits airflow and promotes fungal disease. Overwatering, as we mentioned, is another frequent issue, especially in heavy soils. If your leaves start to yellow from the tips downward, it might be a sign of too much moisture or poor drainage. Finally, remember to stop watering about 2 weeks before harvest. This allows the outer skins to dry and helps the bulbs cure naturally. By giving your garlic the right balance of nutrients, water, and patience, you'll guide each plant from a single clove into a strong, aromatic bulb. Garlic doesn't demand constant attention, just consistent, mindful care. And as your plants mature, they'll reward you with vigorous growth and a harvest that reflects every ounce of effort you've put in. By mid to late summer, your patience pays off. The moment to harvest garlic is clear, when the lower leaves turn yellow while the upper leaves remain green. At this stage, the bulbs are fully formed with tight skins and firm cloves, ready to be pulled from the soil. Harvest gently. Use a garden fork to loosen the soil around each bulb, avoiding the temptation to pull by the stems. Lift them carefully, keeping the roots intact. Brush off excess soil, but don't wash the bulbs. Moisture can encourage rot during curing. Next comes curing, an essential step for long-term storage. Hang your garlic in a dry, well-ventilated area, out of direct sunlight, for about 3 weeks. You can braid soft-neck varieties or simply lay hard-neck bulbs on a mesh tray. The goal is to allow the outer skins to dry and harden, which preserves flavor and prevents spoilage. Once cured, trim the roots and stems, leaving enough for storage handling if desired. Store garlic in a cool, airy location, ideally around 55 degrees Fahrenheit or 13 degrees Celsius. Avoid refrigeration unless the climate is extremely hot, as cold can trigger sprouting. Properly cured and stored garlic can last for months, providing a steady supply of homegrown flavor for your kitchen. Growing garlic is more than just planting and harvesting. It's a lesson in patience, rhythm, and respect for nature's timing. From a single clove planted in October to a basket of golden bulbs in summer, the process reminds us that small, consistent actions yield remarkable results. So this fall, as you prepare your garden, plant a few cloves and watch the journey unfold. Tend your soil, nurture your plants, and celebrate each new green shoot. By next summer, you'll enjoy the satisfaction of a harvest that's entirely your own, rich, flavorful, and full of the pride that only comes from growing your own food. Your garden is a story of care and patience, and garlic is one of its most rewarding chapters. Plant it, nurture it, and let nature surprise you with abundance.